I met her a long, long time ago when we were college. Julie was much younger than me, but she was in college at the same time as me. Look, this is really special. Maybe just focus on the I knew very little about Toastmasters, if I'm honest. I remember the first time getting up to speak anywhere, I was absolutely terrified. And Dan made reference to it. So I've been in UCC I'm in my 36th year as an academic, and I've given presentations all over the world. I lecture every day, I used to anyway, but yet you have to get that gut feeling before you get up there if you really want to do something productive and valuable. I've just finished, so at the moment we're going through our conferring ceremonies, and Dan referenced he's just come from one from St. John's, and it's just fantastic to celebrate extraordinary talent in our city, a learning city, which we work with the city, the university and our partners. But for me, I've just yesterday concluded the 6th of 32 ceremonies, so I'll do 32 ceremonies over the next 4 weeks, and I'll graduate somewhere about 6,500 students. And every one of those, I speak in Latin, but then I also give a separate speech. And the topic I've chosen this year is on artificial intelligence. So my script is on ChatGPT. I joke. Before I get on to that, we had a wonderful evening together last night to celebrate a wonderful person of this city and of this country and of this nation and of this part of the world, the late Jack Lynch. He was 25 years deceased yesterday. And our student, our Law Society, had a special event because he was a former Prime Minister, and a Cork man, which is much more important than being a Prime Minister, I suspect. But he studied law. You may or may not know his background. His mum died when he was young, and he went to live in Dublin, and then he came back and he worked in the circuit courts here, and then he took up an interest in law, actually studied law, and then went on to King's Inn and finished his degree, and then came back down here. But we had a wonderful evening last night of words. We also had hostile words. And, I think words can be hurtful. We had a protest which were against Bertie Ahern, who was speaking and sharing his perspective. And, I can understand why people are hurt. And in a university, actually, we have to hear all voices. We must always hear all voices, even if we don't agree with them. And I think Shirley made reference to that earlier. And that's the joy of a university. The university is where diversity matters. And as a professor of ecology, there's a central axiom that says diversity begets stability. The most diversity that we can have in our world, through voice, through race, through whatever diversity, that brings a joy to all of us. But coming back to the role of the university, one of the privileges I have, and our Lord Mayor may enjoy some of this, is that we're at the stopping point for most ambassadors, and also from political leaders. And I've sat in my office with some of the most, maybe belligerent, if I could use that phrase, politicians on the northern side of this island, and we've exchanged really fantastic conversation where I get a deeper understanding about them, they get a deeper understanding about us, and actually we learn about it from each other. And that's the joy of conversation, even though sometimes the words might be harsh for both the recipient and perhaps delivering them. But also, we must also have a word of kindness. And I had an extraordinary moment. Some years ago, I was at an event in Dublin to celebrate faculty of the university, where awards were being given for people who work in all our universities, all of them. And the patron was a lady called Mary, and Mary got up to say a few words. And Mary described that she lived in Belfast. She was one of 9, and she was really smart. And when she went to school, her teachers picked her out and said, "This is an extraordinary woman, and we need her to go to university." But Mary said, "Look, I'm the eldest of 9, actually. I just can't afford it, nor will I ever be able to do this." But a teacher, in an act of kindness, decided she would pick up Mary every day and bring her to school in her car. And she had conversations and words of encouragement. And luckily for us, because Mary went on to study law, become a professor of law at Queen's University of Belfast, and became President of Ireland. So sometimes our words are critical in terms of encouragement. So let's put aside all those negative words and actually show a bit of kindness and act towards those that are maybe less lucky than us, Didn't plan the same on that, but it's just the moment that happens when you come into a wonderful place like this. So I'm here just to join with you in your celebrations, and it's lovely to have colleagues from Canada. I was just saying it's the second group of Canadian people I've met in 24 hours, because I had the president of Toronto Metropolitan University with me yesterday, and it's just extraordinary. And when I read the briefing notes for today's event, 25 men in California 100 years ago set up a global movement across the world. It reminded me of my own institution, actually. UCC, some of you may or may not know, commenced this building in 1845. You might remember some of your history. Ireland had a famine in 1845. What we do in Cork, we build a university. The first students arrived in 1849. 115, not 1,000 miles in 20 years, all men. Same thing. What may surprise you, I'm going to go to the end first today. Today we have 25,000 students, second largest university in the country, 3,500 staff, of which 60% are women, and from 110 nations across the world. That's the joy of being in an institution such as ours. So it's really important that we share those experiences and words. And as you mentioned, Ralph Smidley, together with many, actually set out to inspire us and to, I suppose, to challenge us each, particularly to be inclusive. And as you mentioned, University College Cork, we're really honoured to be a home of the Guardian Toastmaster after COVID. And COVID was horrible this time for all of us. But during that period, as a university leader, we had, and the Lord Mayor will know this as a public representative, we had some interesting challenges because some parts of the city, particularly close to the university campus, became party land because young people were either unable or to travel anywhere, and it became a huge challenge. But often for young people, challenge is incredible, a moment for innovation. And I don't know if you remember back to those horrible days that you were allowed to have a wedding of 50 people. Do you remember those days? You could have a wedding and 50 people would come. So what did the students do? They continued to have their parties. When the Gardaí knocked at the door, this beautiful couple came out dressed as a bride and tuxedo and said, we're having a wedding. And there were 50 people there. So, innovation comes in lots of different ways and places. But during that time, because our neighbours, to be fair, had a very difficult time, so I appointed a community engagement officer, and he has been an absolute treasure. John Warren, and colleagues will know who come to our campus. He's done an extraordinary job. And he and I walked around our neighbourhood last week and met some of our neighbours. And I was proud to see the relationship we had built. Proud because when I met some and I had cups of coffee in people's homes, they said to me they felt safer. They felt safer when the students were around than when they weren't around in the summer. Which I thought was really interesting. The university is open 24 hours a day. Students walking home late at night would spot something happening, report to the Guardian or whatever. And we are really pleased to support everybody that comes into our community. So the Toastmasters International mission is about empowering individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. And we will work hard to support anybody to do that in our institution, from students, from anybody in our community, to enable a better world. And looking to the future, Gary Mulcahy, the head of Student Life, is working to develop a panel of student society members to participate in the pilot programme with Guardian Toastmasters. We have over 100 clubs in the university, and wouldn't it be great to have a Toastmaster club? But last night, reverting back to last night, Lord Mayor, I don't know if you remember the last speaker. So this was a wonderful conversation between Berkeley Hearn and Gary Murphy, who's professor of politics in DCU. But it was organised by a student event. But the event was closed by a wonderful young student who's a third-year law student. I had never met him before. It was one of the most amazing speeches. Our chair of our governing authority today said it reminded him of a Martin Luther King moment, or JFK moment. This was a young man who got up there and spent the first 7 minutes speaking in Irish, followed by another 8 minutes. And I just wish I had recorded like you're doing now, because it was the most extraordinary synthesis. It was concise, beautifully crafted, with a wonderful message. And then he just sat down and it didn't matter. And you know what, I just find envious of people like that. Are just extraordinary. But that's the joy of the university. So Marilyn, it's very nice to meet you. I met you earlier, and past president of the Guardian Toastmasters, Canadian, who is here this evening. Some of your fans and family are here as well, so in point to it, Claire. Marilyn joined the Guardian during COVID also, in honor of her grandmother Peggy, who hails from Dunmanway, not too far from here. And maybe we move then to the climate action area, which is something that I personally feel passionate about and have for all my life. I was reminded recently I went to Douglas Community School, some of you may know of the road, and they reminded me recently that in 1977 I had written an article in the school magazine on environmental sustainability. I think the words weren't quite those, but the message was the same. Because as a young person I was absolutely and remain passionate about ecology, about habitat loss and climate change. And it's critical today that we support each other in that agenda. And I'm really proud of our institution, what we're doing in University College Cork. Not because of me, but by the fantastic students that come into the institution every year. So for the last 20 years, we have led a very significant transformation on sustainability. And what's interesting about sustainability, it's a word that means everything, it means nothing, actually. And I remember going into a room, and I wish I had recorded, I should really record things more. I went into a room, and I thought, because I'm a professor, I was a young academic in zoology, I know all about this. And then suddenly, a lawyer starts talking about sustainability, then a social scientist starts talking about it, then a computer scientist, then a mathematician. And you suddenly realise, actually, that we all have a huge role to play in protecting our planet and maintaining sustainability and maintaining our climate. We are incredibly ambitious. We are the very first university in the world to have a green flag. Not because of me, because of our students. Our students come from primary level and secondary level and said, where's the green flag? The green flag is a scheme that's run by the Federation of Environmental Education in Copenhagen. And it's administered in this country through Fantastic. So they came to the university leadership team and said, look, we'd like to do this. And we said, yeah, it's one of those things, go and do it. And little do we know that they did go and do it, actually. And Councillor Lord Mayor, you will remember this period. And so the first thing they did is they went through the skips in the North Mall, which our department was in zoology. And they went through and they found all the waste and segregated it out. And that was the beginning of a journey, to the extent we became the first green flag campus in the world. Now in 84 countries across the world, at every higher education institution in the country. Not because of me, but by a fantastic student who come into our organisation. And we've invested significantly. We will meet our targets of zero waste by 2030. We will. We will meet our 2040 targets for emissions, because we're already more than 50% there. We're on scope 3 at the moment, and that's the biggest challenge. Scope 1 and 2 are a little bit easier. But we will work really hard. And one of my proudest moments was to see University College Cork, first of all, be ranked, and it has been ranked in the top 10 for 12 years in global rankings in sustainability, ranging from number 2 to 6. So are we perfect? No. But we really work hard to do well. And one of my really proudest moments was in New York, when University College Cork was awarded the Green Dawn International Sustainability Institution in the globe. That was in 2023. And these actions reflect a commitment by us to educate global citizens, to be protective of our habitats, protective of our species, but most importantly, protecting those people who are less fortunate to us in communities where they're going to be most affected by climate change. And our university was the first university in Ireland to be official present at COP26, 27, 28, 29. And then last year we gave our extra badges to those people from the global south who will be most affected by climate change, so that we can learn from them but also support them on the journey of change. So we have a total of 44 awards for sustainability, from Irish, North American, first at the University of Europe to get Gold Star Award for Sustainability from Asia in North America. But all of this really is not about me, about anything else, but it is about our commitment as an institution with the city, and a mission city led by the Lord Mayor, also to make a significant impact. Because we have the responsibility to do that, to make the world a better place. And I look forward to hearing more about the online sustainable speaker stuff, because I think that will propagate another group of people founded by our host, Shirley Gallagher, in exploring how we together can build a better world, and a world for everybody, particularly our children and grandchildren, to survive in. So over the past century, Toastmasters has been a beacon of empowerment, providing tools, inspiration and support for those who like to speak in public. The University College Cork, alongside the Guardian Toastmasters, together with this wonderful learning city, embodies the spirit of collaboration necessary for meaningful change. We're not only about nurturing the next generation of effective communicators and leaders, but empowering them to lead the change that's necessary for climate action conversations with her. Thank you very much.